Hey guys, welcome to the channel. My name is Riff. Before we start, I'd like to thank you for clicking on the video, and let's get right into it. So today we're going to be talking about the two DLCs for Metro Exodus. Those two DLCs are the two kernels and sStory. I'll keep this video short and sweet. Also, this review will contain a lot of the spoilers for the main story. This review will also not include any deep thoughts about the gameplay and mechanics, as I already gone through that on my previous review for Metro Exodus. If you haven't seen that and you want to hear my thoughts, I highly suggest you go look at it. So let's start with the two kernels. This is a pretty short DLC. You could finish this around 2 hours or less. I think this DLC started off really slow, as the longest section of the DLC was the first part, as essentially you're clearing the tunnels of that gunk we saw in the dead city. So basically the story focuses on Kirill's father. We learn that his father was a colonel, and we get a lot of backstory as to what happens to the dead city a few months before Artyom and the gang get there. So this DLC reminded me a lot about the old Metro games, where the atmosphere is so hopeless and you see the struggles the people of this part of the Metro went through. This story adds to the lore of the dead city and how it came to be. The storytelling is okay, it's nothing to write home about, but I had a few questions about the main plot, which is the green stuff. So I don't really understand why they need to keep on injecting this green stuff, as it looks like a lot of the habitable locations of this part of Metro seems to not be irradiated. It could be since that part of the world's radiation level is twice as much as Moscow's. It could be that the people that live there, they're constantly getting small amounts of radiation. So basically the main weapon that they introduce in this DLC is a flamethrower. It's basically just that, a gun to use in the game. There's no new mechanic introduced with the flamethrower, unfortunately, which I think was a miss. I hope that, well, at least I wanted to see more done with the flamethrower, but yeah. So as I said, I wanted to keep this short. For the conclusion of my review for the two kernels, that this DLC is okay. The added lore to the dead city was very welcome, and like what I said, it gave me the same vibes as the original Metro games. The short runtime was okay, the action sequences was good, but yeah, that's pretty much it, really. I don't really see anything too special about this DLC. I like it for the fact that it adds more story and lore to the world. I think if you're into that stuff, you'll like it as well. So the next thing that I want to talk about is sStory. I was originally going to post gameplay videos to the channel for sStory, but unfortunately I accidentally deleted some of the video clips I had for that, and I also finished editing it. For some reason, I don't know why I deleted it, and the files were too big to restore because they got automatically deleted. So yeah, that's pretty sad, but you know, stuff happens. And if you're gonna ask me if why not just play through it again, at this point I've really burnt myself out of Metro Exodus, as I've already played this game for over a month now, and I really do want to play other games right now. With that out of the way, let's talk more about the DLC itself. So this DLC is a lot longer than the two kernels. You can probably finish this DLC in about 4 to 5 hours if you don't go out of your way to get all the attachments for your gun and your gear. The two guns that you'll get here are pretty cool. The first one is the Sammy assault rifle, and the other one is the Stallion pistol. These two were pretty cool to use, especially the Stallion pistol. For me, it's one of the best guns introduced in this game. I like the aesthetic, I like the sound of it. Feels really good to use, and it's also really pretty. So this DLC I think was a lot better than the main game of Metro Exodus, if we're only strictly talking about the open world sections of Metro Exodus. So just to quickly overview what I said about the open world sections of Metro Exodus, I think that the open world sections of Metro Exodus was empty and boring to go through as a whole, mainly because it didn't feel too rewarding to explore the whole map. The reason why I say this is that this particular DLC's map is dense and compact, and it does not feel like an empty world to explore, unlike in some of the open world sections of Metro Exodus. The other reason is that the map in sStory connects to all of the story points of the game. So to understand this better, imagine a circle where you're starting off in the submarine section and you're going to explore the whole map and then end up back in the submarine section. To me, that's a really good design on how to tackle the open world sections, well, at least for Metro Exodus. It makes me feel like the map is connected to one another, and it makes it so that the world is not a bore to go through, unlike in Metro Exodus, where in the open world sections, after certain missions, you have to go back to the train. Main example for this is the very first open section of Metro Exodus, where you start start in the train, and then you go scout out the church, come back to the train, then go to the crane to meet the mechanic, and then go back to the train again. So that feels really annoying to go through, especially backtracking all the time, which can be a bore, especially in an empty open world like in Metro Exodus. And it kind of felt like a chore to go back and forth from one section of the map back to the train in the base game of Metro Exodus. The fluidity of the open map in sStory feels really good to go through, because you don't really need to go backtracking from one location to another. The game always brings you to the next location you have to be in order for the story to progress, which I think feels really good. And I also think if this was implemented in the base game, this could have made Metro Exodus a lot better to go through. That's just my opinion. So to conclude, this DLC is really good. The story of Sam wanting to go home is very interesting, and showing more civilizations across the world is very interesting as well. As I said, if they implemented the same exploration of the map to Metro Exodus, the base game, it would have felt better to explore. The added guns were really awesome to use. Unfortunately, there is really no new enemy to try them on, aside from that bat thing. But aside from that, really, this DLC was a lot of fun to go through. I liked going through a lot of the map, as it just felt seamless to go through. So yeah, so that's it basically for today. I don't really want to make this video too long, as these two are better to experience yourself rather than just someone on the internet telling you about it. If you already have Metro Exodus, I highly suggest you get these two. If you want to get more backstory to the Dead City, I highly suggest you play through the two kernels. And if you just want more Metro Exodus in general, and in my opinion, the best way they could have implemented the open world sections, play through sStory. So yeah, I'm not gonna keep you guys here for too long. If you like the video, press that like button. So tell me if I missed anything about this review. Do you like the review that I did? Or do you think that I wasn't fair enough with the review? Or do you disagree with me? Tell me down below. I love to have a discussion. And if you want to see more, I highly suggest that you subscribe to the channel. Next we're going to be playing Valheim and Stardew Valley. So these two games, they're not story driven games, so most likely play through them and just post random things that I find interesting while playing them. But yeah, if you want to see more gameplay, game reviews, game discussions, and many more, subscribe to the channel, and I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.